Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Think Once, Code Anywhere. Today we are going to discuss about a small story, and before going into the story, let me explain you why we are going to listen to this story, right? So before that, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel Think Once, Code Anywhere, right? So now let me assume that I have a hand, right? So in this hand, how many fingers do I have? So we have 5 fingers. So how do we count the fingers? So we used to say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So always we are saying like we have 5 fingers in our hand and we are counting it as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But here comes the problem, or I have a doubt to ask you guys. Like I hope everyone would have known about what is an array, right? So we have a single dimensional array, multi-dimensional array, and we have jagged array. And when it comes with the array, so let me say something here. So same way I have 5 fingers, but in case of an array, how we are going to count the same? Like I'm going to count it as 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So this is what we are going to do in an array. So and my doubt is, why do we start with the number as 0? So we can start with 1, right? Why do we start with the number 0? So this is what we have to know. And if somebody asks you a question in an interview, so why does an array index starts with the number 0 instead of 1, right? So if the question is in this case, most of the students will reply something like our staff doesn't teach us, right? So it is not that your staff doesn't teach you, so it is you who doesn't ask any doubt to your staff, right? So now let's have a clarity before entering into the next video where I'm going to teach you about arrays. So let's speak about why we have the array index always starts with the number 0, right? So let me tell you why we have the number 0 as an index value for an array, and the ending index always ends with n minus 1, right? So the thing is, now assume that I have an array, right? So I have an array which is kind of an object, right? So when it comes with Java or C++, we used to consider it as an object. So when an object is passed as a parameter to some other function, so what will happen is, so this object won't be passed directly, instead the object's reference will be passed, right? So the object's reference will be passed. So now assume that I have a hand, right? So assume that this is going to be the object and I'm passing the same object, right? So now if I pass the same object and I have 5 values here, right? So assume that we have 5 values in your array, and now what I will be knowing is, I will be knowing the first finger's address, right? So I will be knowing the location of my first finger. So what I want to do is, so if I try to add 1 to this number, right? So if I want to add, so I know that I got the entire array, right? So we got the entire array, and if you want to fetch all the values from that array, and if I just directly add 1 to that, so what will happen is, I know the address of this value, right? So I know the address of my first finger, and if I try to add the number 1 to it, so automatically it won't take my first value. Plus 1, it gives you the second value. So I'll be going with the second number, and next if I add 2, it will go to the next value, and so on, right? So this is how it is going to iterate. But here the problem is, we have missed our first value, right? So we have missed our first value because we are just passing the array object, where the array object holds a specific reference number, or you may say it as an address value, where that address value is nothing but the very first index, or the 0th index, which we used to say, right? So the 0th index address, right? So if I want to fetch back the same value, right? So that is the first value. It means that I want to add 0 to it, so that I can get my first value. Then adding 1 will give me the second value, adding 2 will give me the third value, fourth value, and so on. So this is how the array index actually works, and that's the main reason why array index always starts with the number 0, right? So it is not a problem, that it is not an issue, or it is not a problem if you start with 1, but the problem which we are going to face is, always the first value, or the first element that is placed in that array will be missed, right? So that is the main reason why we have the array index always starts with the number 0, right? So hope now you have a better clarity about what is array, and why the array index starts with 0, right? So this is the main reason why we are always starting with the array index as 0, and hope you enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe to my channel, and share this channel if you like this.